So Wes, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I've never been better. How are you doing?
I am doing well. You're looking good, sounding good. I'm glad you could make it.
That's debatable, but thank you. Yeah, you as well.
The movie that I asked you to talk about with me this time was Fear Street Part 1, 1994?
Dude, what the hell?
This is exactly why you have no friends.
Look, some guy killed a bunch of people at the mall last night.
Holy shit.
Yeah, 94.
94.
The year of our Lord.
Yes, the year of our Lord. Now, I'm just going to preface this entire discussion, just get this out of the way. I don't think this movie was made for us.
No, it wasn't made. It wasn't made for the people that were alive in 1994.
No, it was not.
It seemed like it was made for people in their 20s.
It was, yes. This is labeled, I believe, as a teen thriller, so that's correct.
Yeah, definitely a teen thriller. They just used our music that we grew up with.
Right, that's kind of how they went about it. This is a series of movies. There's 3. There's 94, there's 78?
78. I heard that one's actually all right, but yeah.
Yeah, and then there's
1666. Yes, sir.
Is the third one. That one just came out, I believe, a few days ago, if I'm not mistaken.
They're all 3 out now. Yeah, it's new.
The movie opens 1994. Heather Watkins, a bookstore employee, makes plans with her friend Ryan to catch a ride home after work.
You ever been to a B. Dalton's?
No, I'd never heard of B. Dalton's.
Thank you for shopping at B. Dalton's.
Yeah, it's a thing. That was where I used to buy my books when I was in high school.
Is that in Ohio?
Yeah, there was one at the Findlay, Ohio Mall.
Okay.
There was a B. Dalton book, and this was before Borders and what's the big one? Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble
became huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a real place, and it actually so far you get to be reminded, if you're from the 90s like we are, of that place, at least for me. And then you got to hear a Nine Inch Nails song, and I'm like, okay. I'm into this so far. I like Nine Inch Nails, and I like B. Dalton books when I was 13 years old.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah.
So then the rest is downhill from here.
As she's locking up the bookstore, she's attacked by a masked assailant, and she is murdered. First one to go.
Are we just going to gloss past the blow-up doll? It was like Veronica or something.
And she pulls off that skull mask to reveal that her friend Ryan was currently killing her.
Shocking.
A police officer comes up behind Ryan, shoots him right in the head. He falls dead, and she soon follows. We meet Dina Johnson and her brother Josh.
And he's using a much too far advanced version of AOL than what was available in 1994.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
And then he says, I'm stealing it from the neighbor.
Do you know how expensive AOL
I'm
is?
stealing it from the neighbor. I'm talking to someone online.
Like it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Exactly, yeah.
No, see, that's why this movie is not made for us. We're aging ourselves, and I don't care. Yeah, we're older.
I don't care.
That's fine. It was all wrong. It was all way too advanced. You can't steal it from your neighbor.
Now, this next scene, you had mentioned something about the music. The annoyance, my annoyance, regarding the film about the use of 90s songs. It's a big problem for me. They just go completely overboard with the use of 90s music. If you're going to make a period movie, you can have period appropriate music. But this film goes overboard.
I don't like that either. This was more in your face.
Very.
Like these songs are being featured.
Yeah.
And it bothers me. It's boring, and I think it's lazy.
I feel that if you're going to make a period movie, there's a perfect way to incorporate period appropriate music. Plenty of films have done it. For me, you have it playing in the background. Maybe it's playing in a car radio. You put it in there to make the world feel real.
Yep.
This movie said, hey, this takes place in the 90s. So let's cram the 90s down your throat. Do you remember this?
They even say what year. They say 94.
Yeah. Do you remember White Zombie?
Yeah.
You remember More Human Than Human? Because you're going to hear it 3 times in this movie.
That kid likes that song.
He really likes that song.
It's a good song.
It is, but Jesus.
I was so taken aback by the way that they were doing it that I looked up. I knew that some of those songs were not from 94. They were from after 94. Only Happy When It Rains by Garbage was 1995. More Human Than Human was 1995. White Town, Your Woman is 1997. Firestarter by Prodigy was 1996. And I also have written here that 1994 AOL did not exist in this capacity. So those are my notes so far, and those are most of my notes. So there's out of like the 10 or 15 songs that they really crammed down your throat, almost half of them here are from not 1990. They're from after 1994.
No, that's a good catch. I didn't even think about that.
I wasn't even paying attention to it, and then I heard White Town's "Your Woman," and I said that song probably came out in like the late 90s. And then I looked it up and it said 1997. So then I'm like, all right, let's go back. And I did all the songs, and almost half of them are from 95 or after.
Sure. Obviously one could make the argument they weren't trying to make the music appropriate for that year. It was just 90s.
They weren't, because it didn't happen.
Right, exactly.
But why not? By making a movie and it's called 1994,
yeah,
all the music's gonna be from fucking 1994 or like 93.
Sure.
So anyway, that's the most that I'm gonna be talking for this whole thing. So
that's why I'm here. I'm here to steer the ship.
Yeah, please, man. You are a skipper.
All right. One thing I wanted to mention really quickly, that school scene where we're at right now, the scene where the kid walks up to the locker and stabs it very aggressively. And then carves R.I.P.
R.I.P.
It's strange, right?
Yeah, that's not normal.
Okay, cool. I was just wondering. As we meet her friends, Simon and Kate, a couple of drug dealers, we learn that Dina ain't afraid of no witch.
There's no angry, dead witch who made him go postal. The only thing that made him go crazy is this town.
That night, there's a vigil held for the victims of the mall killings at the football game being held in rival town Sunnydale. Dina and Sam reunite, with Dina giving Sam the business for moving there and living her fake life with her fake-ass mom.
She's mad because that other girl's parents got divorced and she had to move. And she's blaming her. And I think it comes up later that they're a half hour away.
I am half an hour away.
It might as well be the goddamn moon, and you know it.
So what the fuck are they talking about? That's bullshit.
I know.
So she had to move because her parents got divorced. So this awful, awful person who is our lead is shaming this poor girl because, she ruined everybody's lives by having to move. Well, guess whose life is really ruined? Hers, because her parents got divorced.
Right.
And you have no sympathy for that.
This had nothing to do with her decision-making.
No. So fucking stupid.
Dina. I keep calling her Deanna.
I don't even know her name.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you.
Dina is her name. Yeah, she's a very selfish, not very likable main character.
No, she's fucking awful. Sorry.
And on their way home, the Shadyside bus is being tailed by Sam, her boyfriend Peter. The Shadyside students attempt to retaliate by dumping water on their car. But for whatever reason, and I don't know if this is explained or not, maybe you caught this, I didn't, Dina has a nosebleed. That distracts her enough that they accidentally throw the entire water cooler onto the car, causing an accident.
Whoever's driving that bus needs either a raise or needs to be fired. I don't know which one. One of the two. You can't open that door without getting yourself expelled from school.
Well, I mean, dude, at that point, who gives a shit? I mean, what's her name? Kate is marching up and down that bus talking about how they're going to kill all the Sunnyvale students. She's getting everybody riled up.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna go kill those preppy assholes!
Like William Wallace. We're going to murder all of them.
Well, this was pre-Columbine.
Sam is badly injured, and she's taken to the hospital. But before she does, she crawls out of the car, wipes some blood away from her nose, and then places her hand on the ground, which causes her to have a vision of the Fear Witch.
I don't know what the hell's going on, dude. I was after this is what lost me. After all that 90s music kind of ends, and not that I liked it, but just it kept my attention.
It's a cartoon at that point.
This whole movie's a cartoon.
So after the accident, the following night, Dina begins to be stalked by whom she initially believes to be Sam's boyfriend, Peter.
Oh, hey, Peter. See, you got the full costume now.
And meanwhile, Sam and Kate have a very unusual moment where they are babysitting and then giving the kids drugs?
I don't know, dude. There was something going on that was kind of weird. I don't think it was giving them drugs, though.
If they were good, they could watch a show with her?
Yeah,
no?
It was Belvedere. No, wait.
No,
That's 80s, not
That's
90s.
80s, yeah.
Friends.
Was it Friends?
Yeah, your favorite. I made that up. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
There was a couple Friends episodes where the monkey was on. I thought they were funny when I was a kid, man.
I got
Marcel the monkey. And plus, it was on before Seinfeld. Man, oh man, Thursday nights. I would start watching TV at 8, and I didn't give a shit what was on NBC. I loved it, including Friends. And then when Seinfeld came on, I was the happiest person ever. And then if my parents were being cool that night, I was allowed to stay up and watch ER.
Yeah,
now, and then a show like Sopranos comes out a couple years after ER, And it's like, oh, this is what TV can be.
Sure.
Jackie Jr.
His performance of being completely freaked out and begging for, I don't know, for whatever reason, that scene left an impact on me as a good one. Yeah. So, I don't know.
So anyway, that's this week's episode of The Bizarre Show. So thanks for listening. And please subscribe, like, review.
Oh, God, we have a movie to talk about, don't we? Ugh. All right. Sam and Kate. Okay. They're babysitting. I don't remember where we are. Dina and her friends go to confront Sam about Peter. Peter cannot be the killer because while they're in the hospital, he gets a knife through the back. We have a little chase through the hospital, and after a scuffle, the killer's mask comes off, revealing that it's Ryan, the killer from the beginning of the film. Were you shocked?
I don't even know who Ryan is.
All right, perfect.
Oh, wait, is he the guy from the mall?
Yeah, he was the killer at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, so he was already dead.
He was already dead. So how is he still alive? Well,
but let me answer your question. Yeah, I was shocked.
So after hearing about Sam's vision, the group realizes that the accident disturbed the grave of Sarah Fear, and she is pissed, sending the killer she possessed in the past after them. They get the idea to rebury the bones, hoping that it'll put her back to rest, but this does not work.
Well, what's another movie I don't really like? Poltergeist, right?
You don't like Poltergeist.
I don't. That's not. I like those kind of movies too. That one doesn't do it for me.
It's a bit sillier than most.
Yeah. Like I like a supernatural kind of movie. I like an Exorcist. Very complex story.
Very complex, with complex characters. And that's what I mean, a drama with supernatural elements.
Yeah.
Which is what makes it very enjoyable for me.
So good. So thank you for listening to the Bizarre Show this week.
We would rather be talking about fun stuff.
I don't even know where we're at.
So when they realize that reburying the bones is not going to stop the curse, they start to realize that the killers only want Sam, because the night of the accident, she bled on Sarah's bones, and now Sarah wants more.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, That's terrible. I thought I found it to be shocking when I first saw it.
So out of desperation, they just decide to hand Sam over and call it a day.
We are not fucked. She's fucked. We put Sam in the hall. We end this now.
You're a monster.
I say, fuck her. They're all terrible people. Through Josh's collection of clippings on the Shadyside killings, they discover that C. Berman, a survivor of the Camp Nightwing massacre in 1978, died, but was resuscitated, which apparently stopped the witch's curse. They attempt to call her, but receive no answer. So after this, they organize a plan to kill and revive Sam using drugs from a supermarket pharmacy called the Grab-and Bag. The Grab-and Bag, Wes.
Yeah, the Grab-and Bag. It's just like B. Dalton books almost.
Only Sam won't stop vomiting up these pills.
I was shocked when I first saw it.
The Shadyside killers attack again, and they murder Kate by putting her head through a bread slicer. Simon, he gets an axe to the head. That's how he goes out. Now, while this is happening, Dina got the idea to drown Sam in the lobster tank, essentially killing her and causing the killers to disappear. Dina immediately revives Sam using a combination of EpiPens and CPR. Afterwards, the police decide to place the blame on Simon and Kate, as they were known for selling drugs. Sam and Dina reconcile, and they publicly come out as a couple. Later that night, while Sam is at her house, Dina receives a call from C. Berman, who tells her there is no escaping the witch.
It's not over. It's never over.
We see Sam's name carved in stone during some sort of ritual. Now possessed, she attacks Dina, but is subdued and tied up. Dina says she'll get Sam back. And then we cut to be continued, and we get a preview of the next chapter of Fear Street Part 2, 1978. And that, Wes, is where the movie ends.
The only movie I've ever saw that had a witch in it, it wasn't even a real witch, that I liked was that Blair Witch Project.
What are we talking about? Oh yeah, Fear Street Part 1. Wes, what are your final thoughts?
Wait, what is that?
The film we've been trying to talk about.
The 90s music.
The 90s music, yeah.
I like the music, okay. You know, we grew up with it. I like I really liked 9 Inch Nails and stuff like that. So overall, I would say that was really important to me, that we got to hear all that good music, that they really, really, really laid it on thick. And like I said, like the young priest and the old priest and all that stuff. And then The mom that you really feel for the mom when she's taking her daughter to the hospital and having all these operations done to her and stuff like that. And they're like, there's nothing wrong with her brain. And you find out that it's possible that she actually is being possessed by a spirit. So overall, I would say that The Exorcist, I give an A+ to. Wait, what are we talking about?
Fair enough.
So how do you feel about the movie Fear Street?
This movie's boring. It's not very interesting. The characters are terrible people. The storyline is something that I've seen in about 100 different horror movies, 100 different times. I mean, the whole idea to die and be brought back to life to break a curse, isn't that in one of the Final Destination films?
One of the 7? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I don't know what the books are like. I have no interest in finding out. So yeah. So the argument that the books might be better, I don't know. They might be. My final rating for this movie would be a D.
Yeah.
D-.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this movie sucks. I've got to find a new job.